Nick Kyrgios and Stefanos Tsitsipas. They have both been fined for their conduct during a rather fiery Wimbledon encounter.
Wasn't it just?
We hoped it would be. Last week we were annoyed with Nick Kyrgios. This week I kind of like him again. Don't know how I feel. Hello, Sam. You right?
I'm good, thank you. I think it's been one of the most dramatic opening weeks we've ever seen at Wimbledon. We've seen Brits fall early and then go on some great runs. We've seen some unbelievable matches, and we've seen, a lot of drama. And a lot of that drama has come when a certain Nick Kyrgios is in action. An unbelievable game on Saturday, but it was the sort of the tension, the drama between the two players has got people talking this morning, and in particular on Kyrgios' behaviour. The Times, Laura, asked a very simple question this morning. Is Kyrgios good for the game or a menace to tennis? And the Times writers debate one of the sport's most controversial figures. Before I ask you both the same question, just going to read bits of what the experts have said this morning. Stu Fraser says, they say that any publicity is good publicity, so Kyrgios is great for tennis in that regard. There is no doubt this behaviour on the court entices more eyeballs to the sport. Speak to tournament directors around the world and you will struggle to find one who would ever reject him for a wild card. He sells more tickets than anyone else on the men's tour outside the long-established and popular quartet of Nadal, Federer, Djokovic and Murray. Owen Slot says his bullying of referees and line judges is utterly reprehensible. Somehow tennis has allowed this to carry on largely unchecked. The game needs a more comprehensive post-match review system. Alison Rudd says Kyrgios is good for tennis in the same way that a motorway pile-up is good for the advertising hoardings next to the traffic jam. He attracts headlines and comment, and his antics will turn a match into a pantomime, but he takes it too far and has become a hypocrite. And just one more for you. Rick Broadbent says he is bad for tennis if you want stars to sign up for unwanted role model status, and good if you want people to watch. He's tennis clickbait, sporting my might. Laura Woods, is Kyrgios good for the game or is he a menace to tennis?
I like that headline, by the way. I think he's good for it. I think he's good for it. And the reason is last week...
We're talking about it.
Exactly. We are talking about it. And also, I look for those headlines. I do look for the Kyrgios headlines. We've said this in the past about Kyrgios I do enjoy him because I've said before I like a maverick in the game.
Yeah.
But last week went too far. I don't think anyone can disagree with that. Spitting at fans, being rude to the line judges as well. I think you have to draw a line somewhere. His overall contribution to tennis, though, as a talent, it's undeniable what he can do. I just don't want him to end up going too far, and I think he's in danger of that. But one thing I would say as well about Stefanos Tsitsipas is he's no angel. If you know tennis, you know that as well. So obviously he's going to get Kyrgios is going to get all the headlines. But actually, there have been times in the past where Stefanos he's had interactions with his father, who's his coach, where he shouldn't be. He's been accused of potentially texting him when he shouldn't be during a game, when they're breaking in the game. He's been very rude to ball boys, ball girls, to line judges as well. He's got his own fair share of controversy. So calling Kyrgios a bully, I think is more hypocritical than a lot of what Kyrgios does. At least in some situations, you know what you're going to get with Kyrgios, and he's not hiding exactly who he is. I just think the comments that Stefanos made afterwards about Kyrgios being a bully were quite curious to me.
Where do you sit, Ali, on this? I think you make good points. It was very much both involved, wasn't it, on Saturday, wasn't it? Yeah.
Of course you were.
On Nick Kyrgios, though, Ali, would you like to see him go all the way and win it?
Yeah, I would actually.
This week, would that be great for tennis? Nick Kyrgios, the Wimbledon champion?
No, I'd actually love Cameron Norrie to beat him in the final, to tell you the truth.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, that would be ideal for me.
Good point.
But listen, we watch him because we're half expecting him to blow up, right? Now, I understand totally. The fact of the matter is, when he does blow up and he is out of order, he should be punished, right? So, whether it's to the crowd or whether it's to the umpire or whether it's to a line judge, if he's out of order, he should be punished. Simple as. But what he does do, he makes people watch tennis in a completely different way that we like to watch Nadal and Djokovic and Federer. We'll watch him for a different reason. not because he doesn't have brilliance at tennis, because he does. He's arguably as brilliant as any of them, and he has probably as many shots as any of them. But we know there's a fuse, and that's why we like watching him, because there's an element, whether we like it or not, quite enjoy watching him be able to contain it, or does he lose it? And that, whether we like, as I say, whether I like it or not, that is exciting, and that's why some people watch him and watch tennis. That particular game, my reading in that game, Tsitsipas was probably more out of order than Kyrgios, to be honest with you. Watching that game, he's banging balls at crowds, and I thought he completely lost it. And to a certain degree, Kyrgios had him exactly where he wanted him, right? But that's not the issue. The issue is, are you asking me, is he good for tennis? At times, he's brilliant for tennis. At times, he's a menace.
Yeah, I agree with you. And there was one moment in that match, which I loved, where it was the underarm through the leg serve. Tsitsipas tried to return it, hits the net. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. I watched it and I laughed my head off, and I just thought that's exactly the kind of thing we want to see. He even highlighted in the past that when he does it, people have criticised him. When Andy Murray does it, they celebrate him. Yeah. And he is right, because there's an element of supporting your superstars where there's a good guy, bad guy thing going on, and he's deemed the bad guy. I still believe in sport. You can't separate when you've got these mavericks. Sometimes you cannot separate the good from the bad, because we want all of that, don't we? We want the excitement, we want the maverick nature and all of that, but we don't want some of the more unedifying, is that a real word? Some of the things that are a bit harder to take and that shouldn't really be happening, which is the treatment of the people around you that are just doing your job. I wish he didn't do that. I really do, because I'd find him much more charming. Yeah. And look, he's not there to please us or anything like that. He's there to do his job, but so are they. So I still think you've got to be respectful of that. I'll
ask you two a question, and I know where I sit on it. Would you rather have watched Kyrgios versus Tsitsipas?
Yeah.
Or would you rather watch Djokovic comfortably beating somebody 3-0 in sets?
100%. I'd rather watch Kyrgios.
Of course you would.
I'd rather watch Kyrgios 99% of the time, Ali. It's just when he does those things that make you go, oh, I don't like that. The things that make you cringe. Yes. The way that he talks to people, I don't enjoy those things. And I do think he knows what he's doing as well. He knows how to bring a crowd in, and he knows what's going to get people talking. Whether or not it's just him doing it, I'm sure it is. I'm sure that is just him. But you can't tell me he doesn't know that it's going to bring him a larger amount of attention.
Would you? He's clever.
Yeah, he's very clever.
Don't think for a minute he ain't clever. Yeah. We got to say, he's as wide as the Clyde. I tell you, he's seen it coming, and some. He's a very, very clever individual that, obviously knows how to press people's buttons, if you like. Yeah. And I tell you what, he didn't have press him the other day there.
100%. If he's on TV, I'm going to watch him. Yeah. If he's at Wimbledon and I've got a chance to go and see him, I am going to go and see him 100%. Yep. Which is why actually I quite enjoyed this section, because I like talking about him as well. He's doing the right thing, but more importantly, he's got the talent to back it up. I just wish he wouldn't do a couple of those things that I find a little bit below the mark. 03717 223344. Is Nick Kyrgios good for the sport or a menace to tennis? What was that, the Times headline?
The Times, indeed.
Very much liked that, whoever wrote that this morning.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.